Right now, so many people are jumping straight into New York after they get their degree or after they get some training or maybe even a 2-year training or certificate of some sorts. And they're just expecting to immediately go into Broadway auditions with not a lot on their resume, not a lot of experience, typically no agent. You're more than likely non-union. And I want to offer you a big piece of advice that if you can really lean in and soak this in this video, it's going to make a drastic difference in your career moving forward. Because talent is not enough. Skill, yes, we absolutely need multiple skills in this industry. But what you really need to focus in on is grit, strategy, and a mindset that is actually going to get you not only seen in auditions, but to keep you from burning out and quitting in this industry altogether. There are so many performers in this industry that end up learning after they get into it. After you graduate, after you finish whatever training program you're doing, they move to New York City and they start to realize what this industry and what this job actually does entail. Now, everybody's career is going to look different. And if you are scrolling the doom scroll and you're looking at the few people on social media that, book job after job after job for whatever reason, and you think that that is you, then I want you to stop and really stay with me in this video, because your career is going to look very different from somebody else's. You may work once a year. You may not book anything when you start into this industry. It may be 2 or 3 years. And it may take you a while to face reality and to say to yourself, I need to look at myself as a business. I need to look at myself as, a brand, as how am I going to pitch myself to casting, and understanding how this industry works and functions now. So let me walk you through how to have a career in this industry that is not only a career that you're going to be able to stay in this industry long term, financially, mentally, emotionally, but a career that is going to actually bring you some joy and happiness, because you are going to understand how to fill the gaps emotionally, financially, and also how to say, I need to pivot to this next thing because the industry is pivoting, or I need to add on other things in my life to support myself. Because the biggest challenge that we have as performers is that we are taught to audition. We are taught singing, dancing, acting, musicianship, whatever you learned in your degree or your training program. We're taught skills, but often we don't learn how to apply those skills into the actual job that we do, which is auditioning. Yes, absolutely. Most of the time we are auditioning, but that audition season typically only comes January to June. There are other auditions after that, but the big one is January to June. How do you navigate it as a human that is showing up in person, trying to be seen, whether you're equity or non-equity, an agent or not an agent? How are you navigating the online submission game? And do you have a good balance of how you can do that every single day without burning out? So I want you to really think about career stamina. This is one of the biggest challenges. I've coached this for so many years because this is the one thing that I've been able to do, is have stamina in my career, not just as a performer, but in the other aspects of my life. You need to have other options available to you for an outlet, both creatively and financially. So many people I see finishing up their training, going straight to New York, and just immediately expecting to be seen for Broadway auditions. You're expecting to go from something where you just dipped your toe into the water, even if you have a training and degree from, BFA, boo-boo from wherever. But if you're expecting to go from, hi, welcome to New York, I have nothing on my resume that's regional, I have very little actual experience, nobody knows who I am, I'm trying to navigate this career as a human being and as an artist at the same time, and you're expecting to literally go from that to the top of the top. Also, we're in a time in this industry where a Broadway credit does matter. We have to sell tickets. You have to have some type of experience and reliability so that casting knows you're going to be able to do this job, even at a regional theater level, even at a non-union regional theater level. So I really want you to just be honest with yourself. It's not about talent or no talent. It's just about career stamina and where you are in this industry, beginning, middle, end, far beyond that. But to really sit there and just say, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. So I'm going to really figure out how I'm going to navigate this for me and what makes me happy as a human being. Do I want to be in New York? Do I want to be in New York January to June, and then I want to go back to the West Coast the rest of the year if I don't book anything? Do I want to do a tour? Do I not want to do a tour? Maybe I don't right now, maybe I will later, but that idea of career stamina, so you do not burn out and try to say, I'm going from zero to hero. It's like Broadway or nothing, baby. It's an equity contract or nothing, even though you have nothing really just yet on that resume. And then the next problem that I see quite often is people in this industry blaming casting, blaming the union, blaming the viewpoint, the current viewpoint of the industry, blaming financials, blaming open access or some type of gatekeeping because you can't get seen in an equity audition if you're non-union. A lot of that blame can turn into bitterness. And I've seen it happen so many times. And in turn, people avoid the gap of mindset and strategy in this career that is going to work best for them. You might need more training. You might need to build up more skills. But essentially, you really need to get clear about how you are going to approach this job, this industry, a life, so that it works best for you. And the truth, honestly, is that a degree and even a resume is not going to book you the job. It really just depends on that moment, that time, that casting director, that team, that vision for that production. And you may start auditioning and say, oh my God, I was perfect for that. I was in the room. I saw other people. I was down to the last couple of people. Why didn't they book me? And you can't get in that mindset. You have to say, what did I do well in the room? What can I improve on? And I'm going to strategically get better and better every single time. I'm going to keep showing up for myself. Because if you start to let yourself go into that cycle of, I have a degree, I've already done 4 years of training, I've been doing casting directors and paying money to be in front of them, you can't use that as an excuse. And I say this because I want you to really look at this from a really strategic perspective, so that you don't burn out, you don't quit, you don't leave this industry and have some bitter side of it because you thought you were going to be farther in your career earlier than you expected. And you're comparing yourself and you're saying, I should be at the Tonys, I should be on that Broadway stage. Performing is not just about auditioning. That's a large part of it. It's about learning how to navigate a non-linear career. Ups, downs, sideways turns, flip sides, whatever life gives you personally, that is this job. It truly, truly is. You need to find a mindset, a practice, a routine that is going to work for you to keep you grounded and to keep you moving forward without falling into these spiraling traps. And that's exactly why I created my performer reset ritual. I'm going to link it down in the description box below. It's totally free if you want to get it. I hope this helps you start to find out what works best for you. It's what I do every single day. Go check it out. So here's what I want to suggest that you do in this career. Show up every day with a plan. So I need to start thinking about that and brainstorming and making some action happen. But you need a plan. And I know this is really hard. This is so much of the work that I do because discipline and figuring out how we're going to function in our life as someone that you're really working for yourself is hard, especially if you go to college, you have your schedule set up, and all the way from us being up to 18 years old, we have a schedule. It's given to us. You have to create your schedule and it will shift and change, but you need to know how to navigate actionable steps every day and having a plan. The next thing I want to suggest is that you build systems in your life. You take class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You meet with coffee with friends every Friday. Create systems and routines. Routines are really something that is so important for us because our life is up and down and all around. You may be in rehearsals, you may be doing shows, you may be just hitting the pavement auditioning, you may be in the middle of the summer and you didn't book anything. Whatever your routine may be, make it work for you in that moment, in that chapter of your life. It does give you this grounded feeling every day. You know what you're waking up and doing, rather than you feel like, you're free falling and there's no consistency to your life. And you have to kind of find what works best for you. But in my experience, I like to habit stack it. So I work out 5 days a week. And as soon as I work out, after I do that, I do it usually in the afternoon typically. I will, depending on, schedules and if I'm in a show or rehearsals or auditioning or tapes or whatever it may be, but I work out in the afternoon. And then as soon as I finish that workout, I go straight into my own voice lesson. I have a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly voice lesson with my own voice teacher. But every 5 days, I'm doing my own voice lesson. I have a full warm-up schedule. I have a full plan on what songs I'm working on, what auditions I'm prepping for, depending on the time of year that it is. But that is something that keeps me grounded because it's a routine that constantly is helping me train in my craft. And that way, when I go into an audition or I do a tape, I don't feel like, raw or out of practice or it's something new. It's something that I've been working on every single week. And if you can continue to bake that, like the word bake, if you continue to bake it into your routine, then it feels more like you are an artist, that you are a performer, even when you're not performing. Shift that mindset from when am I going to book my next job? When am I going to get discovered? When's going to be my next big break? To what am I building this week? Because we cannot control casting, but we can control how we show up in the room. You know what is not functioning in the room. And if you don't, reach out to someone and get feedback on it so you can have a clear focus of, I need to work on this thing next in my career. Because you're not behind, you just need a new set of tools. If this hit home, subscribe. And this is the work that I really enjoy doing and I'm passionate about. So I also want you to check out this video next. I think it's going to be really helpful for you. And I'll see you in that video.